like that, old man? You want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Happy Tuesday, film fans. Welcome to episode 318. Welcome to Joker. You're listening to a brand new episode of the Cine-Men movie podcast. I am one of your hosts, Juan. I am joined by the cast, the crew, Zach.
Folie et Deux. How are you guys doing today?
It is a do. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cine-Men movie podcast. It's the only debate worth watching this year. All year round. We don't just happen in November. We happen all year round, every week, 52 weeks a year, every single week, for at least an hour a day.
And if you're Johnny, hell, you do it every single day. You find a way to do a podcast every day. Every
day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're getting to it. So.
But overall, how have you been doing, man?
Zach, I was just about to ask you the same thing.
I'm doing all right. Job's a little hectic right now. We're getting towards the end of the year. Can you believe that we're almost halfway through the month of October this year? Like, I was telling someone at work, the clock just starts at October, and next thing you know, it'll be Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, and then, as you know it, we'll be in 2025 with a whole new season, whole new episodes for the show.
But Zach, since it's been a while since we've seen you, kind of tell us what you've been up to.
Man, I've just been working. Honestly, I've been trying to stay on top of my movie game. The summer has been crazy though. Like I think I pretty much saw a movie almost every single weekend, maybe twice going to the movies in one weekend. It's amazing how these studios put all these movies out, and then honestly, we've talked about different movies coming out the rest of the year. I mean, there's still 50 plus movies still coming out. This weekend is Saturday night, the Saturday Night Live movie. Next weekend is Smile 2. The week after that is Venom: The Last Dance. It's crazy. It's just something every weekend.
It is something every weekend. But if you guys did not catch us last week we talked about long legs. Join us. You can catch us anywhere you listen to podcasts. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher. And we are
very device episode. I thought
it was a very device episode. I think this one might be the same. Long legs, 3 different perspectives last week, 3 different people. Whether you like it or don't like it, go check out that episode. You can listen to the episode wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can search us on social media. Facebook.com/The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Instagram is all one word, The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. X is at Cinnamon405. And then email us at CINEMEN921@gmail.com. So it's going to be pretty interesting social media-wise as well. If you guys were on social media, last week we gave a digital copy away of Despicable Me 4. So check that out. Other than that, Ed, what's up, man?
Hey, not too bad yourselves, folks. Zach, how's it going?
Doing well. How about you, Eduardo?
Just learning new learning a new profession.
Edward's always learning. He's here for learning. He learns every day, 72 hours a week. Hit Edward up if you guys have any hate mail, or if you just want to hang out with Edward. He is available for rent. Again, that's CINEMEN921@gmail.com. We have to find someone to keep the lights on here.
And it's certainly not because of our good looks.
Speaking of good looks, let's get into some recent watches. I'll kind of go first. I'll go real fast. I checked out Joker a few times, obviously, this weekend. The hellhole of a movie that is The Innkeepers for Friday the 14th podcast. Terrible movie. And then I'm 2 episodes deep into The Penguin. Oh. Ed, what about you?
Hubie Halloween, believe it or not. Yes, I watched it again on my own will.
Gross.
Joker, what? It's not
Nobody-
bad, dude.
Nobody put a gun to your head to make you watch that?
Hell no. Joker 2, of course. Then The Boys. We've been watching this new season of The Boys. Yeah. That's been it so far, other than, what's up?
I did also check out the first Joker. I had to watch it. I watched it in between the two viewings, and we'll get into it. Zach, what about you?
Honestly, it's been kind of slow. I'm caught up on Tulsa King, the new season on Paramount Plus. I forgot to mention The Old Man has a new season now on Hulu with Jeff Bridges. It's actually better than the first season, to be honest. There's a little bit more action to it. Frasier on Paramount Plus, the new season of Frasier, and honestly, Joker too. I haven't really I need to catch up on some of the movies I've missed earlier in the year. But other than that.
We have Brian. What's up, everybody from Albuquerque, New Mexico?
How's it going out there?
New Mexico.
Breaking Bad.
Other than that, guys, it's been a fun week. Zach, let's kind of explain how this episode became this episode. Way back when, our very second ever bonus episode was Joker. You went to go see it. I wanted to go see it really bad, and you were like, dude, you should go see it. It's amazing. I went and saw it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then we did a podcast about it. What is that noise?
There's a murder going on behind an Ed's back in the backyard.
And then there was a sorry, I lost my complete train of thought.
You saw Joker throughout the whole weekend, and
all
then
3 days in the entire weekend. And then I was like, Zach, we have to talk about this.
Yep.
It wasn't scheduled. It wasn't even in the lineup. And I was like, man, we have to talk about this movie. So you met over here back when we were kind of just talking about
still doing the show live, really, in person.
Yeah, in person. And we had a very diverse conversation about it. It wasn't really diverse, but it was different for a bonus episode. And this movie was supposed to come out, I believe, in 2021 or 2022. The pandemic happened, and then a bunch of other stuff happened, and now we finally get it this year. So that's what we are going to dig into. And like I said at the top of the hour, why watch any other debate on TV when you guys can watch us every single week? So what we're talking about today is Joker. If you guys have not seen it, we're 9 minutes into the episode. Pause, go check it out. If you hear bad things and you're like, I don't want to see that piece of garbage, listen to us and then go back and check it out. Maybe it'll make you want to go watch it. Right now, currently on IMDb, it has a 5.3, 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, 46% Metascore, and a 2.5 on Letterboxd. With a budget of $190 million, right now it's grossed a little over $122 million at the box office, with an October 4th, 2024 release date, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Lady Gaga, Brandon Gleeson, Catherine Keener, Steve Coogan, written by Scott Silver and directed by Todd Phillips. Arthur Fleck is struggling with his dual identity. Failed comedian Arthur Fleck meets the love of his life, Harley Quinn, while incarcerated at Arkham State Hospital. I'll go first. I saw this movie twice, once on Friday, once on Sunday. And my one word as soon as the movie was over was don't believe the hype. The negative hype, that is. Zach, what about you?
Yeah, I saw this over the weekend. Saw it in the IMAX format, so got the full picture-in-picture quality sound with this. Yeah, I agree with you. We'll talk about it. I really don't understand what the hate is with this movie. I'll just say it's a worthy. Is it a necessary sequel? No, but I think it's a worthy one. So, what about you, Ed?
I wanted to understand. Folie, dude. I wanted to understand. I wanted to understand why the hate, what it was about, and Craig, and what
Craig
was
is with
going on
Craig
with
is
the movie.
Craig is with us through messaging today.
You know, that's the biggest thing I left, or well, started going into it, was I wanted to understand why people didn't like it, why almost everybody I've heard from has said something negative, and what was it, you know, to understand. So I get on in there trying to look for some stuff and trying to
Ed's just trying to
understand.
point out the negative.
No, well, a little bit, yes, but at the same time, what I just wanted to understand what people were thinking about it and why it was so bad. Because I'm just
I'll tell
I
you.
understand.
So I think we finished up first time reaction. I think we're just getting into why is there so much hate. I'll point out like a majority of it, and you guys can like, hey, is that just today's group, or is that just today's genre of movie lovers? But I ended up looking at this movie like, you know what? People just aren't ready for a tune-up of a different film. People complain when we get the same old Marvel movies or the same old DC movies. And then Todd Phillips finally takes something, scrambles it up a little bit, and gives us Joker the musical, which this is what it should have been labeled as. And people just shit all over it.
Hold up. Do you understand what Folie Deux means?
Yes.
What is it?
It's like partner times two.
No.
Or lover times two. It's French.
No. It is French. Shared madness or shared
madness of two is what it means.
Basically, yes.
Still,
so
it's if people just, I don't understand the whole hate of it. Like, again, if you're not ready for a musical, and that's been the only thing I see the negative comments about. I also see the negative comments about the story is trash. It's completely different from the first one. Hello,
that's the point.
But if you sit back and look at it, it's not different from the first one. It's a continuing story of exactly what happened in the original, just a musical.
I didn't. Oh, go ahead.
No,
well, I was just gonna say I didn't get a chance to rewatch the first. I wanted to, but I just ran out of time. But you're right. I mean, from what I remember, it's just Arthur Fleck's like miserable existence, and then by this point, he's in Arkham, and he's kind of like dueling with this personality of Joker, that's what you would do in a sequel. And it's basically the court case, and then you get Harley Quinn involved, and
that's the brilliant of it, I think, and it's just going over so many people's head. I think throughout the whole movie, he's not dealing with the personality attack of the Joker. I think at this point, he understands who he is. He wants to embrace the Joker, but it's not until he finds Harley Quinn that he's like, you know what? It's okay to embrace the Joker. It's okay that I love that about me on the inside, and I need to show everybody that this is who I am and this is who I want to be.
Yes,
I think the opposite,
go ahead,
to be honest. I'm going to say the opposite, because by the time he finds Harley, he's got the lawyer tell him one thing, he's got Harley tell him another. He's confused, and he's just like, I just want to be me again.
And that's exactly what I just said. He wants to be the Joker.
No.
He wants to
be Arthur Fleck again. So he does the Joker thing to give everybody what they want, but then he says, this is not me. I am me. This is not me. What you think I am, what you want me to be, is not who I am. This is not who I am, who you want me to be. This is just an outside. You're not looking at me kind of thing. Because all his life, if you look at the first and this, all of his life, he's been shit on, he's been hated, he's been harassed, he's been bullied, he's been beat up, he's been sexually abused, even to the young age of at minimum 7 that we can actually have canonically stated in the movies.
The guards continue to sexually abuse him in the second one as well.
And I mean, you know, you don't see it, but it is highly and heavily insinuated. But with all that going on, this guy is just like, I'm popular, but this isn't who I am, because now she wants me, but I think she wants me for me. So when the whole end of it, and she does what she does, that puts it into perspective for him. I think it's a thing of more an Arthur Fleck's coming of age story than it is the Joker's story. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like it, is because he moved away from that character after a while.
But we have to admit, this might upset some people. How me and you and Zach are just about to break this down. I don't think the people out there are, I got to watch what I say. I don't think the people out there are prepared for what this movie brings to them on a mental state. I think musicals are fine and musicals are dandy whenever it's about love or life or singing and happy and Emma Stone, La La Land. I think people like musicals when it's like that.
When it's positive, yes.
Yeah, but when it's got to do with mental health and abuse and their beloved superhero characters, they're like, throw it away. We don't need it. It's trash. When I guarantee you, in 20 years, this movie is going to be like a Rocky Horror Picture Show cult classic. I almost guarantee it.
Like years from now, like, oh, we get what he was trying to do.
Especially when Broadway puts together Joker the musical, because the soundtrack, I don't know if you guys have sat back and re-listened to some of the music and the lyrics.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is phenomenal.
Yeah. It has a lot of like 60s songs. It has a lot of Frank Sinatra. It has a lot of like dark tone music that when you really inspect the lyrics of it, it makes sense for what Todd Phillips was trying to do.
Not even to mention there's some original music in there too.
Yeah.
And not only that, but there's a lot of pointing to specific artists such as Sonny and Cher on that little show and all that. When they came out singing to each other, and he's like, wait, you're trying to make it all about you, but this is not even about me, it's about them, kind of thing. When he started that, there's a lot that I think a little bit is somewhat cynical in this as well, because some of the points that he's led down kind of make him wake up a little, if that makes sense.
See, to me, the way I interpret this, and everyone has their opinions, everyone's entitled to them, it's fine. But when I watch this movie, the way I interpret it, anytime we're with the lawyer or the court case, obviously we're in the real world. Anytime we're doing a musical number, I interpret that as this is what's going on in his mind. Like, this is how he wants the situation to go. And I think when people,
except for also the escape, I feel like that was kind of a mix.
I think that was like mixed reality.
But I mean, they did mention that, that she was singing and all that stuff while trying to escape,
But like, I've heard a lot of people say, dude, like, this is one of the worst movies of the year. This is up here with Madam Web. I was like, what movie did you watch? I don't understand this. I really don't. And the music, I read one review saying like, oh, I'd really get into it, but then we cut to a musical sequence and it just took me out of it.
In both of my viewings over the weekend, even the one with Ed, there was like a couple that stood up as soon as the first musical number hit. Like 6 people walked out.
Wow.
Same thing when I went and watched it in Norman on opening night. The first musical number hit, 2 couples, 4 people got up and just walked out.
I don't fully understand it on that unless you're just coming into it not thinking and understanding it.
And to me, you're not giving the movie a chance. You're
letting me about to rant.
Okay, well, let me get my point in, and then you can just let loose. To me, you're not giving the movie a chance. Like in the freaking trailer, it's you know it's musical. You know this is going to be something different from the first film, and to me, it's just like if
That's
you
why they
sit
brought
there
someone like Gaga in who can sing.
exactly, if you're going to do that, bring in Lady Gaga, who's already kind of weird, but she has an incredible voice. You know, just that's the point they bring her in, and the whole opening. And Johnny, I'm going to let you rant here in a second. The whole opening Warner Brothers Looney Tunes thing, I love that. I was like, this is like perfect for what they're trying to do. But yeah, go ahead, Johnny.
We almost didn't get there for that. We are just like a minute or two ahead of it.
Do you people not watch trailers? Like,
Exactly.
do you? I don't. I mean, if you people like watch and just go to movies out of the blue without even looking at things or reading, that's fine. That more power to you. But man, if you want to spend, especially depending on what theater you go to, if you want to spend $17 a person to get in and then just get up and leave, I mean,
because don't get me wrong, the average movie ticket is $12 to $15 nowadays. The average movie ticket, 12 on the low side, 15 on the like usual, and then 20, 25 on the high side, I guess. So after 30 minutes, usually, and correct me if I'm wrong, all three of us have worked at the theater before, but after, because I thought it was 30.
Probably depending on
the theater,
which theater and all that, which it might have changed since me and you worked there, because it has changed ownership since me and you worked there. But I specifically remember it was 30 minutes after screen opened that you could get a refund.
And we saw it. We saw it in the IMAX ad, and that IMAX theater holds 600 seats.
600, yeah.
There was, including me and the person I went with, there was like maybe 15, 20 people in there. That was it.
I'd say there was about 30 or 35 in ours, roughly.
Well,
honestly, Friday night ours was elbow to elbow sold out,
and I feel like it won the weekend. So obviously people were interested in seeing it. But to me, I feel like this movie was already damned to begin with, because people that I went, the people at work, the people I at say like, hey, did you go see Joker? And I said, yeah, how was it? I was like, I liked it. I thought it was an enjoyable experience. They already had this preconceived notion of like, it's a musical. It looks stupid. I didn't really enjoy the first one. Like it has that same dark tone to it. It's just taken into another direction, essentially.
So, don't get me wrong. One of my favorite musicals, and you want to use a dark. One of my favorite musical movies is Sweeney Todd, Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Oh yeah,
that's a very sad. Yes, it has some love tones to it, but it's a very sad and dark movie. Yeah. You want to go ahead and throw in over the top joy and hey is Pitch Perfect. I know Craig's a huge fan of Pitch Perfect. I like Pitch Perfect quite a bit. That is hilariously stupid comedy and a lot of singing and all that, a cappella for the most part, but nonetheless it's like, what are the differences between those two and this one? There's not much. I mean, honestly.
And I'm going to say something that's probably going to piss people off, but I don't really care at this point. This movie was already damned to begin with because it was a musical, and people aren't going to accept that. And they think, well, they took the character of Joker and just like totally turned it on its head. And in my opinion, this is something Joker would do. Joker and Harley Quinn are just two insane characters. It's like, yeah, I could see them doing a musical, in some like macabre way. That makes total sense to me.
And I know it's kind of off topic, but not really. But if you can go back to the Suicide Squad extended cut, there's almost a kind of a slow musical number between that Joker and that Harley Quinn when they're dancing around the acid and the song's playing and they're kind of like teasing, not a musical, but they're kind of teasing something like that as well. But I think this movie and not only is good for the month of October for our schedule, but let's talk about some positives with this. When there was not a musical number and he's walking through the prison or he's talking to that first reporter about what he did, that feels like that reporter, it felt like he was almost interviewing Ed Gein or something at that point.
Yeah.
The score in the background kind of felt like a thriller / horror movie. And then they were talking to him like he was almost some kind of unbelievable monster. And
Well,
I was like, man, this is kind of got some real dark tone to it.
but I mean, at the same time, like, and I'm not trying to incite nothing or anything like that, but talk show hosts nowadays, what if someone gone on and done the same exact thing, live TV and all that stuff? It would be a crazy little adventure. And then all of a sudden in this trial, you figure out that he's killed 3 people before that, a person or 2 after that. And then he reveals, I killed my mom too.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like,
Well,
that's a revelation.
Before the trial, everybody already knows he killed 5 people.
Yeah. But I mean,
and let's talk about the trial sequences.
Yeah.
When the trial sequences are going on, musical number or not, that's really entertaining throughout the entire piece of the movie.
It was.
And then another MVP of the movie, everybody's so high to talk on Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. How about Brandon Gleeson in this?
Oh man, yeah.
Brandon Gleeson was top notch. Yeah, as the main security guard, and the way they treated him, I got to say, I never felt, even in the first movie, going back at it, I never looked at Arthur Fleck as, again, might get some flack, but I never looked at Arthur Fleck as the criminal. I never looked at him as somebody who deserves the chair. No. I looked at him in both films. I looked at him as like somebody who needs help, and you feel bad for the guy. I never wanted any. This is probably the only Joker in all the movies. I never wanted any harm from Batman or anybody to come to him.
And to me, it works so well because like of the way this Joker, there's always a backstory behind the Joker. Jack Nicholson, he's kind of like a comedic cartoon villain. Heath Ledger, he has severe mental issues. Jared Leto's kind of like a weird, hyped up gangster. But
the fact that you say Jack Nicholson was a comedian, cartoon character,
I already got like
heart. I already
got like 10 hate mails. It's fine.
He's a gangster.
But this is the one that society made someone do this. Like you said, Ed, he's just been so pushed and pulled and torn. By the time he gets onto that train in the first movie and kills those 3 kids, you're kind of sitting there going like, yeah,
they deserved it.
I kind of get how he got to that point.
Again, nobody deserves to die. Let's go back and point that. But
they
out of mistake of him being nervous and being bullied and him pulling the trigger,
it was a breaking point. Yeah.
I was about to say, it wasn't that they deserved that, but at the same time, and it's what's kind of befalling the generations now. There's not much coincidence or for your actions.
Consequences.
There aren't consequences anymore. Don't get me wrong. Used to you made a scene out in public and all that good stuff. Someone's liable to punch the hell to knock you out. I mean, honestly, nowadays you make a scene in public, you're going to get canceled and crap like that, even if you are in the right. And eventually later on,
you still get punched out or shot, just depending on where you're at.
Depending on, but at the same time,
but being canceled
is a lot.
Being canceled is like society's new way of saying you're in trouble and no one's going to like you anymore, which is like a really, we're not going to get into that, but
with this, it's a thing of someone being pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and then they snap, and it's like, oh my God, why did they snap? I don't understand. Nobody did nothing. No, there was a lot that person put up with 10 layers of things just because you and your little heart can't handle that they didn't have the correct espresso at Starbucks. And that's your hardcore thing of the day. That doesn't matter to a lot of realistic people that have 10 layers of shit.
I don't know how we got into Starbucks or layers, but
because the difference of what they deal with.
The Joaquin performance of Once for My Life, I leaned over and told Ed this. I had Johnny Cash vibes from that song. I don't know about you guys, but certain ways he was singing in this movie, he still raised that lip as if he was trying to perform as Johnny Cash. I'm like, man,
it's probably the best.
When you bring both of these characters together and then both of the actors together and they both sing, they both dance, I'm like, man.
it's probably the best way he knows how to sing, for that matter. And with her, you could tell she toned, and you could almost tell for singing, she was yelling a lot beforehand. You could tell that she was making her voice raspy, that she was making her singing like downplayed.
Yeah.
Because even I've never been to her concerts, but hearing the live versions of some of the songs she sings and the concert versions, it's a different little thing compared to even this singing, compared to her album style singing.
Well, the only song where she really screams at in this, though, is
No. I'm talking about
gonna build a mountain.
No, I understand that, but I'm talking about how her voice was, how her vocals were. Because she sounded hoarse. She sounded like she had been screaming beforehand.
She changed the pitch of her voice a little bit.
Kind of like how Matthew Lillard would do once he got the Shaggy role. You know, just change the voice up and all that, because she didn't sound like Lady Gaga.
She probably did a lot of smoking before this movie.
And then there's that as well, because, you know, but
I really thought that both of their performances, Phoenix and Gaga, they were on the same level. One really didn't outdo the other. That one didn't outshine the other. I thought they had perfect chemistry. I thought they embodied both characters in a way that makes sense for these two characters to exist on screen. And yeah, I mean, like I said, the musical sequences, you know, it was kind of cool to see what they came up with each time they did one.
I will say the ending, to me,
there's a lot of people that hate the ending of this film, and
it did flop for me as well, until we talked a little bit about it after we left. Because I told you, I was just like, that to me, that doesn't, you know, I mean, they're wrong. Either let him right off in the sunset, you know, with what his, you know, sentence was, you know, down to.
If you go back and pay attention to the first movie, his ending story was always going to be death. It doesn't matter if it was just in the first movie or the second movie. He was never going to ride off into the sunset. He was never going to get.
I mean,
he was always going to die. And even pre-Joker, before that movie released in 2019, Todd Phillips even came out and said, "Hey, he's not the Batman's Joker. He is a different character. He is a different lineage. He is somebody who brings," and we talked about this in the bonus episode, Zach. I Have No Life. I went back and listened to it. He is somebody who the Joker in whatever universe looks up to start portraying as the Batman villain. So the ending of this movie, Joker Part 2, or Folie, it completely, to me, makes sense, because, and we can go ahead and spoil the hell out of it right now, but as soon as he gets shanked and stabbed to death, the person who stabs him, you can't really see it unless you pay attention to the person sitting down.
Yeah.
But he takes the piece of glass or the knife that he shanked Arthur with, and he carves a smile into his face.
Is that when you asked me, did you catch the Heath Ledger reference? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but he also laughs. I don't know where they found this guy at, or if they even used something from The Dark Knight, but he laughs just like Heath Ledger does. So I kind of felt like something like that along the line was going to happen. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be a reference to Heath Ledger's Joker. Even going back to the first one, I thought it was going to be a reference to the Jack Nicholson Joker because of the way the cars looked in the movie. With the white tops, the old 70s and 60s style cars, I thought that lined up more with the Jack Nicholson Joker. And I thought after maybe he got stabbed, or, you know what I thought the joke was going to be when he walked up to Arthur and asked if he wanted to hear a joke. I thought he was going to say, "Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?" And then I thought he was going to stab him. But it ended up being the Heath Ledger reference. And I'm like, you know, Todd Phillips has always said he is just a portrayal of what Joker found, you know.
I think that the real that the Batman Joker found this and thought it was kind of cool and was like, I'm going to change up a bit. but I like this. You know, it's something to go on towards. But I'm going to make this blow up, honestly, like, you know, kind of thing.
I thought that I agree with you guys. I mean, it makes sense for this character, considering what Todd Phillips has said, that this is not the Joker that Batman fights or whatever. I kind of thought it was a sad ending. You know, he really thought that he found where he was supposed to be. He found the love of his life. He lost all that, and at the end of the day, I thought it was kind of a reference to what happened to him back in the first film, where he was mugged in the alleyway, and he just kind of like is like laying there in the fetal position, like crying, like just totally hurt.
Oh,
It
they
kind
took
of,
his sign.
yeah, when they took his sign, it's almost like you're right back to where you began, but this time you're done. You know, everything you've built, everything you tried to do, it doesn't mean anything, and now you're just this sorry, pathetic creature. I thought it was like that.
You guys, at the ending, when they said he had a visitor, do you guys think he really had a visitor, or do you think the cop or the guard was setting him up to get shanked?
I thought it was Harley. I'll be honest. I thought it was Harley maybe coming back.
I thought it was a setup because, don't get me wrong, at first I was like, who in the hell would be like maybe the lawyer,
and
maybe, but
I really thought that the movie could have ended after the again, we are in spoilers, the car bomb that blows up the courthouse. I thought it was going to be Harley, and then Harley and Arthur like run off. You know, they have their sunset moment, and it's kind of like left ambiguous, and it's just kind of like a news report saying we don't know where they are and where they went.
The Joker has escaped.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a classic Batman thing, you know.
I honestly thought when they got out in the car and all that, I thought that was going to be where it kind of they were going to ride off and go from there.
Yeah.
I almost felt like because there's even people trashing the car bombing incident. They're like, who got him out? Who did the car bomb? I'm like, you don't have to know.
Random citizens that were his fans.
There's no reason for any. You know, you don't need a tale for everything.
I almost want to put this in my top 10 of the year just to piss people off, because like it doesn't make any sense why this movie is getting so much hate.
But see, Johnny, one for that they do actually tell you. No, they don't give you who it actually was. But then, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the same mask the driver wore from The Dark Knight?
No,
that was the mask that he wore like in the first movie. Isn't there like a train like ambush, and he puts the mask on to hide in the crowd?
But, yeah, I was going to say those generic clown masks are all throughout the first movie.
Yeah.
Because technically, remember, this trial is only 2 years after the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, on top of that, one thing that I thought about, because they kept mentioning it, the movie. Did you see the movie? Did you see the movie?
I thought we were going to get like a clip of what that TV movie was.
I think it's going back and saying that Joker was the first movie that they did about him.
Like the first movie was the TV movie, and now this is like his life afterwards.
Yes.
Oh,
that's what I was thinking about, because that's kind of what I walked away thinking about. Like when I was driving home that night, I was just like, "What if the movie?"
It also doesn't tell you. It also doesn't tell you what kind of movie it was. Maybe the animated movie that we got with him fighting his shadow was a little bit of the first movie.
And I mean, they're wrong. That's an entirely possible thing. But, you know, to me, in this, Harley cannot be trusted because she lies to him so much.
Times.
But that's in the comics. That's a classic Harley Quinn story of I checked myself into a mental institution.
It's also it can also be the opposite twisted to where that's another reason you can tell he's not the actual Joker, because of how he is not abusive to her like Jokers in the past have been.
Yeah.
Joker was always the one who manipulated, abused mentally, physically, vocally, you know, and she's so obsessed with being with the Joker and she's wanting the Joker that it's almost like you see this coming from a mile away, because he's not the Joker that we all know that he's sent out to be.
Yeah, that's true. So, another thing I thought was going to happen was Oh shit! I lost my thought. Hold on.
What did you guys think? What did you think of some of the other musical numbers, like "Gonna Find a Mountain" when he does the tap dancing? I thought that scene and that sequence was phenomenal.
It was great. It was just, to me, a little out of place. It was just kind of out of left field.
I really like the moonlight dancing sequence where it's like Hotel Harkham and it says no vacancy, and it's kind of like a throwback to the 50s Hollywood style Technicolor musicals, also in like La La Land type stuff, where it's just like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of like a very dreamlike stance of like these two damaged people love each other, and this is like just their little moment in the sun. I thought that was really sweet. Something else I thought was brilliant, and they don't make a big deal about it, bringing in Harvey Dent as being the defense lawyer. They don't say, like, that's just like, oh, this is Harvey Dent, and like, if you know Batman lore, oh, this is really cool. And they even do, after the car explosion, it's kind of like
The Two-Face.
Yeah, they hint at Two-Face, but they don't say like, oh, this is what's going to happen next. But they just do a very good job of saying, like, the camera pans over to Harvey where he's like laid up against the wall and half of his face is scarred up. I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's really brilliant, especially if you're a Batman fan. You're like, oh, so you know what's coming with that.
Yeah,
I even
cool.
like how in this movie they. I even like in this movie that they tease, or not really tease, but they push at how much of a bully Harvey Dent seems like he can and can't be.
Like a Harvard douche, yeah.
Yeah, and it really makes you, again, feel and side with Arthur in this movie.
Yeah. Not only that, but they made this one young. Like, he seemed maybe 24, 25, if that.
Something else I thought was really smart is they didn't bring up the Wayne family. They didn't bring up what Bruce Wayne is doing. It's like, you don't need that. Just, nope. You can bring in another Batman character and say that's it.
I mean, they didn't even say Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, two characters, I guess, Harley Quinn and Harvey Dent. But other than that, it's its own world. There's no Batman yet. You don't need to know what the Waynes are doing. I think that I enjoyed it. The counteract of what's going on in the first movie, like Joker's becoming popular as Bruce's parents are getting murdered. I thought that was a really cool, like back-to-back scene in the first movie. But in this one, it's just like, yeah, we don't need to bring any of that up. This is just Arthur's story. How is he going to deal with his personal problems? How is he dealing with his dissociative identity disorder? Let's just leave it at that.
They do tease the guy who kills Arthur Fleck. They do tease him throughout the entire movie, though. He's in the backfield throughout the whole movie.
I thought, that was the other thing I was going to say. I thought it messed with me at the end, the guy that stabs him, because I was like, isn't that the inmate that kisses him that gets killed by the guards after, like, he ran his mouth too much?
No.
So he didn't get killed, but they did say he's gone, but I think they meant like he's knocked out.
Yeah. Well, I thought he was gone, like he's dead.
Like he's dead.
The one who kissed him is not the one who stabbed him.
No, I know. But what I'm saying was, like, it messed with me a little bit because it was like we went through all that, and part of me was just like, oh, was this all in his head? Like the musical sequences, like he was in Arkham the whole entire time, like none of this happened, and then he gets stabbed by that same guy that that kisses him. But no, you're right. That's not what happens.
I still want to throw some more shout out to Brandon Gleeson, man. He was ruthless, but he was also just he was a joy to watch, man, in this whole movie.
Yeah, he was. And he played a great, just like just one of those slimy guards. It's like, okay, at any moment you're gonna kill someone, you're gonna beat up on Arthur. Like, I know where this is going. I just don't know when it's gonna happen.
Catherine Keener being in it, I was like, man, what kind of role is she going to play? But she ended up being fun to watch. He wasn't in it very long, but Steve Coogan, the guy who interviews him, again, ruthless. Lee Gill, who plays Gary Puddles, like he plays being scared so well in this.
I thought that was the most well acted scene of the entire film. That court scene where it's just like, listen, Arthur, I don't know if you did this, but the reason I'm up here is because it all comes down to you were nice to me. And I think that's why, and that's what really why Arthur didn't kill him in the first movie, because he was nice to him, and Arthur was nice to Puddles, and Puddles was nice to him. And so it's just like, yeah, that scene where he was so scared just to talk to him, like, I thought that was, like I said, the best acted scene of the film. What do you think about bringing Zazie Beetz back in this? Do you think that was necessary, or do you think it was kind of like, well, we need someone from the first movie to, kind of let people know this is connected?
No, I think her trial is really the person who ends up setting him off to fire his lawyer, because his relationship with her in the first movie was very it's the one that kind of messed with you in the first movie. Like, is it real? Is it not real?
Yeah.
Which one is in his mind and which one is not?
Yeah.
So bringing her back was understandable, because it's that when she's on the stand, it's that scene where he snaps and he's like, I don't need you. I don't need the lawyer. You're asking her dumb questions. I don't even want her up there.
And see, like, I thought the cinematography in this movie was really, really good. That scene where, like, it's revealed that, they talk about him being abused as a kid, and it's almost like he snaps, and it shows like Joker in like a shadowy presence at a piano. It's just like, okay, so he's just going full Joker mode. He doesn't give a fuck. He's going there. I thought that was like a really cool visualization of that.
Yeah. Yep. And then you have this. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, at the end of the day, I mean, I think all of us can agree. Todd Phillips really took a risk with this, and he nailed it, in our opinions. I know a lot of people didn't think that. I thought, yeah, it's really hard to defend something that is good, and it's just like, yeah, I don't see the problems you guys are seeing. I honestly don't. So
I know he's already come out and said that he's done with the DC universe. He's not going to talk or do any other movies. And then going into the movie, I was kind of skeptical myself. I was like, man, I love the first movie so much. What is the musical numbers going to be like? How is it going to, how's it going to fold into his story? But I agree. I think they nailed it. And I think the musical numbers, now I will say, I do think some of the musical numbers are a little maybe overdone. Just, I'm going to say two. The one where he's on the phone talking to her and she's just listening, I think that goes a little too long. But like I feel like some of his musical numbers and hers, they just mesh really, really well to the story that's trying to be told.
I'll be honest,
which is a continuous story.
And I'll be honest, I was kind of one of the skeptical people. Like, I thought the trailer was good. It really set it up for something. I was like, okay, this is going to be something different. But when I heard it was going to be a musical, I was like, I'm not. Do we need this? But
we can talk about when we name favorite scene. Also name, if it's not a musical number, name your favorite song.
I don't know. I can't remember which scenes it was. Anytime he sings one of the Sinatra songs, like I think it was I've got the world I've got the world on a string. Either I think he sang that or she sang that. I know it. I know it was very on the nose. Like, okay, I get what you're doing, but I like that song, and I thought whichever one sang, I thought it was really a really good addition to the musical numbers.
What about favorite scene?
Favorite scene. I really like the Warner Brothers throwback to the Looney Tunes cartoon. I thought that was really well done, even though it's kind of way out of left field to open the film. But the puddle scene, the court scene, I thought was, that cemented that for me.
Favorite scene, I would go with the courtroom scene, or I would go the scene where he ravels up everybody and they start singing "The Saints Are Going to Come Marching In," and the guards have to go in and turn the bright lights on and stop it. And if I had to go with the song, honestly, for once in my life, or To Love Somebody. I'm also gonna name Gonna Build a Mountain when he's doing the tap dancing, and that's just a high, fast beat, loud music. It's good. Ed?
Gonna ride on a bit of yours and Zach's coattails for that matter. The puddles scene that was very, very well done. Chaotic on one side, very fearful on the other. Yeah. I would probably say the Saints, when the Saints come marching in, that scene was very passionate and very, very powerful. Even though it was very simple, and just simple, it was powerful.
I'll say I'll do another one. I forgot about. I talked about it, but I forgot about it. The Hotel Arkham Moonlight dance sequence between Joker and Harley. I thought that one was production wise was well done. Choreography was well done. I thought that was very tip of the hat, paying homage to the old type musicals.
Man, yeah, it's good stuff. Star rating, Ed. We'll start with you.
I don't know, man. I'm probably gonna have to go 3.5 on this. So
that's not terrible.
No,
I'm
it's
gonna
just not
probably
something
go.
I'd watch all the time.
I'm gonna go with a 4 out of 5. I love the first one. I gave the first one a 5 out of 5. I think with this one, I'm gonna go 4. So
yeah, I'm gonna go 4 out of 5 as well. 3 great performances: Phoenix, Gaga, and Gleason. Good musical sequences. Cinematography was awesome. I think I agree with you. I think this is going to be a film like 20 years. It's like, oh, okay, we get it. We'll jump on the bandwagon. I don't think it's going to require a couple more viewings, but at this point, as we're talking, it's not on the same level as the first Joker. But obviously, the first one's a very different film. So, but still, I think I'm glad all of us liked it. I'm glad we brought some positivity to this conversation because everything I've read online has just been hateful and just terrible about it.
Those people should probably just stick to watching the Marvels and Incredible Hulk and stuff like that. So, and Star Wars and
Agatha all along.
Some of those other TV shows. I don't know. Lord of the Rings. No.
Ooh.
I can't defend it. So I haven't seen the show, so I can't really defend it. So
Rings of Power looks badass though.
Next week, I know a movie that Zach is not going to watch.
Yeah.
Next week,
this is Ed's pick, by the way.
Next week it might just be me and Ed, but next week, Tuesday, October 15th, we talk a little scary movie for the month of October from 2000. Yes, the comedy horror movie with your favorites. I can't wait. Honestly, I rewatched all these movies last year, just going in, and I was like, you know what? Let's do a parody watch. It was either these or some of the other ones, but I got to say the first 3 films are definitely worth watching. We'll get into some of the other ones next week, but yeah, scary.
I hope you don't fake it.
Tuesday.
You don't like Scary Movie 5?
No, 4 and 5 are trash.
I can't believe that movie almost came out 25 years ago. Are you serious? Wow.
Which one, the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
24 years. 24 years this year. Wow.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, I have seen this movie, so don't send in your hate emails. I have seen this one.
It is on Paramount Plus. It's free on Pluto. For those of you who are wanting to watch along with what we review and what we talk about every single Tuesday. To go through the rest of the month, though, the week after that, October 22nd, we will be talking about Idle Hands. That's Jay's pick to finish out the month of October, or to continue the month of October. And then The First Omen is what we're going to end the month of October with.
The First Omen.
Yeah, should be pretty fun. And then November's packed, December's packed. We got a fun rest of the year lined up. So we will be announcing most of those in the next coming weeks. October is here. This is our 6th straight spooky season month, so should be pretty fun. If you guys are joining us over on Thursday nights, don't forget every Thursday is Friday the 14th podcast. You guys can join me, and that's all we're talking about is horror movies. August, September, October, November, any other time there is. This Thursday, though, Thursday, October the 10th, join us as we talk Michael Myers, The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween 6, over there on Friday the 14th podcast.
Is there going to be library talk over there?
There might be. You might want to join in. You might want to tune in.
That was a great throwback. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm excited for the month of October. If you guys did not listen last night, go back and give me and Craig. We talked sports in the week of college football and the week of the NFL. Also a little baseball playoffs and the start of some NHL and preseason of the NBA. So next week, I'm excited. Scary Movie, the year 2000. Go check it out. Pluto TV, Paramount Plus. Until next week, guys, go see Joker. Go give your own opinion and have a. Oh, Ed looks like he was gonna have a stroke. What were you doing?
Grab some terracotta pie, get a hand necklace, and just get on it, man.
Go check out Joker. It's still in theaters. Have a good week. We'll see you next week for a new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.